Hello guys, and welcome to another video here on the Mad Chili channel. Today, we're doing some flying. Now, I haven't got X-Plane in windowed mode, so just excuse that. The reason is because I much prefer having it in full windowed mode, and we're not actually going to be clicking around on the screen a lot today, so you won't notice the flickering for very long at all, just at the start. So, anyway, on with the video. So we are going to be doing a Fly UK Real Ops flight. We're going to be flying 737-700 with Aurora down to Calgary from here in Vancouver this evening. So this video will hopefully be pretty well edited. I don't know. I'm going to be editing it and adding in some little graphics for the route and whatever along the way. So hopefully that'll end up being quite nice. So without further ado, let's get into things. So today our flight time is 54 minutes. And we are cruising at an altitude of 35,000 feet, and the route should be on the screen in the bottom left-hand corner now. It's all pre-filed on VATSIM, all ready to go. All we need to do is get into the sim. As I said, the flickering on screen will happen when I flick between windows. Just excuse that. For the start of the flight, I apologise. It's because I don't want to X-Plane in windowed mode. Anyway, we are flying the Ultimate Mod 737-700 here today. We're flying it from cold and dark, so let's just go ahead and get the ground power online quickly. Honestly, after the faff of trying to get the Zevo to start from a certain setting, I think it's just easier to get this cold and dark, to be honest, isn't it? So, let's go ahead and fire it up. So, ground power is on, seatbelt signs, chimes, and we just need to get the battery. There it is. Battery turned on, so there we go. And we'll let everything come to life and just get Fly UK's Skytrack software up a minute. There it is. Start flight, and we want X-Pilot as well, so we can be logged in to VATSIM. Just waiting on that. Call sign today is Skyways, and then because we're in North America, 3018 it's going to be. And we are a 737-700, get that in there. And we pre-filed the flight, so no need to file it on there. Okay. Just quickly CYYR for Vancouver. The weather down here is altimeter 2900, so just get that in there. Don't know what that's saying, nav data out of date. That's a weird one. I am on an old air rack. That shouldn't be an issue today. That's quite weird though, because I updated all my Navigraph stuff yesterday, so I don't know why that's happened, but okay. I guess maybe I forgot to hit one of the buttons when I was doing it. I don't know. Oh well, we'll see on that. Never mind, I guess we'll just live with a 1 month out-of-date air rack. Anyway, we want to get the IRSs now into this. Honestly, I want to sit in a better position. There, that's better. And we want to get these into nav and nav. We can get the window heats on while we're waiting as well. Why not? And we can get the trim air on just while we're waiting. And right, so there you go. Set IRS position. We're in there. We are currently on the ground in CYVR. And our IRS position should hopefully pop in on the GPS. There you go. We're going to go ahead and grab GPS right and throw it in there. Great. Okay. That's that. So, let's begin to get everything now. All my charts are on a tablet next to me, so you will not be able to see what's going on over there. I don't even know how to do a screen capture and then get it on my computer, so I'm not going to bother doing that. Parking positions. I'm just trying to get the parking positions up. We are currently parked at stand 7-3, so we're probably going to use 8 left for departure. I know they use 8 right more typically, but it's quite quiet here, so I don't want the longer taxi. So we'll take 8 left, I think, for departure this morning. Well, this evening. I think it's midday, actually. Okay, it's 11 AM down in Canada right now, where we are. Anyway, but it's evening for me, so what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, has this been black the entire time? No. Good. Hey, let's actually get on with our flight today. Unbelievable. You wouldn't think we're actually flying today, would you? Anyway, onwards, and we are going to be Departing from CYVR to CYYC is where we're going. Calgary, CYYC. Get that in there. Call signs, Skyways, 3018. Good. And before we do anything else, I just want to go ahead and put in our weights for today. So, start flight leg, start service cruise on ground. We'll get Samuel jetways up connected. I like to do manual because auto never seems to work. As in, it literally doesn't work, ever. Right. Why is that playing Ryanair music? That's an interesting one. And we'll shut the door as well. Right, fuel weight and balance. Why is it in pounds? Honestly, I thought this would save from the Zebo. I guess I was wrong. I thought that some of this would save from the Zebo, but it doesn't. Literally none of it saves from the Zebo at all. Never mind, I guess, isn't it? Yeah, that's in kilograms. What? I must have just... Oh, yeah, I just switched it now, didn't I? Oh, dear. Anyway, so if I head back to here, we now have it in kilos, which is what I've done my weights in. So 5,300... Looking a bit funny, this is, for me. Wait, do I need to put 5.3, do I? Yes, 5.3. And, yeah, this is looking quite different for me, because I've obviously used to a lot newer version of the Zebo than this. Anyway, I want to check my joystick's working as well. I only just plugged it in. Great. And payload. We want payload as well. So payload today is going to be... It's going to be... What is it? Payload. There it is. 14.7. Enter that in there. We're looking for a zero fuel weight of 52.8. We have 52.3. There you go, 52.8. Perfect. And ground services, and call the fuel truck, and start service cruise, and hopefully that will start to load on. Right, performance initialization today. Actually, I'm going to wait. I'm going to do this first. 8 left. No SID. There's no SIDs here at Vancouver, really. And it's going to be direct to Ad6 on departure, direct to Kester, and direct to Menbo. This is the route. And then it's going to be Q983. I'm taking that to Norret. And then it's going to be jumping on the arrival. We're going to be playing an ILS 29 this morning, I think. Well, I don't know. I keep saying this morning. It's an afternoon, but morning in the game, so I don't quite know how that works out. Right, airport. I will just check 29 is what we want to aim for. No. I think we're actually going to go for 3-5 left. So I will just check what the winds are looking like. CYYC. We're looking at 200 at 6 knots. So actually, I think 17 right is what we're going to be looking at. We'll see what other people are planning when we get further down there, I suppose. It doesn't really look like anyone else is heading down there, to be honest. So I think, yeah, we'll be planning 17 right this morning. Well, I'm going to stop saying this morning now. So approaches, it's going to be ILS 17 right, and it's going to be the IGVEP 6. So the IGVEP 6, right, ILS 17 right, and it's going to be the IGVEP 6 with the Norret transition. Load that, activate it, and our plane should be ready by now, right? I think we should be ready to start entering in our performance in it. We need to basically make sure the fuel's on board, and you can see at the moment they're still taking fuel out of the aircraft, so we won't have the weights perfect yet. And we're waiting for the RSs to align. While we're doing that, we'll go ahead and do the flows, I guess. So, fuel damper can come on. Don't need the fuel pumps yet, so they can stay off. All this is looking good down here. Make sure we're on ground power. And all good. On the emergency lights. That's all looking good. This here. And this is all looking good. Don't want to turn the probe heat on until a bit later. That's on auto. Those are off. Put that on auto. And transit. Okay. Landing altitude. Oh, that was the wrong one. I thought I was adjusting. Oh, this is really sensitive. There you go. I thought I was adjusting cruise altitude. There we go. 35,000 feet. These are all ready to go. Make sure the APU bleed is on and ready for that. Position lights can go into strobe and steady. Wheel well light can come on, and that is all we need to do. So, and the pressure is actually not set because CYVR, I did the wrong airport initially. It's actually 3007, so that first one I did was the wrong airport. I did CYYR, not CYVR. So 3010, and that is it. We're just waiting for them to take out the fuel, so for that to read 5.4. The IRSs are now aligned as well, so that's good. Cost index today is 25. We can get that in, and oh, it's also 3007. What's wrong with me? I can't read. There we go. 3007. And since this is such a short flight, just 55 minutes, we'll get everything else plugged in. We're supposed to be departing in 5 minutes, so I think we're a little bit behind schedule today. But no matter. We are looking for so I'm just getting all my basically I'm just on my tablet getting all of my charts so that they are pinned on the screen. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to plan the arrival yet. We'll do that when we're up to cruise just before descent. But it's just a good idea to have it all up and ready to go on a short flight like this. Just makes life a little bit easier. There's no departure out of Vancouver, so I could just stick it on there. It'll be a pushback. We can get pushback. Actually, yeah. Let's get the APU starting. Since our IRSs are now aligned, we can begin to prep the aircraft. Obviously, if the IRSs are aligned, that does mean we're basically ready to go as soon as all the other stuff on the aircraft decides to get loaded. Obviously, we're waiting on the fuel at the moment. We had to take quite a bit of fuel out of the aircraft, so we just need to wait for that to finish. But obviously, we're waiting for 5.3 kilos, so we'll keep it up on this screen now. Waiting. 407 miles to get down to Calgary today. And, oh yes, I was going to do the reserve fuel, wasn't I? I hope the recording quality is okay, by the way, guys. I apologise if it isn't. Obviously, I'm going to be editing this video, so I'll be looking over it and whatever. Obviously, the black screen stuff will go away. It's just a slight annoyance of X-Plane. You know, obviously, if I plan to do this flight in... It is flickering a bit. That's my worry. It's but the thing is, as well, I always forget. I think it's my monitor. My monitor, the monitor I look at my recording from runs in a different hertz, I think, to my other monitor. Because I did, you know, take the iRacing NASCAR Street Stock Texas video that I did. It looked so laggy, the video, on my second monitor. But then I watched it on YouTube and it was perfectly clear. It wasn't laggy at all, so it just happened like that sometimes, and it tricks me into thinking that my recording's lagging. Right, onto APU power then, and fuel is basically done now. Ground, we can go ahead and disconnect the GPU, get the parking brake on, and we want to go ahead and disconnect the jetway. Bye-bye, jetway. And fuel truck is done. Just make sure all the doors are shut as well. I think they are, aren't they? There they are. There's our lovely 737-700 aircraft that we are taking on flight today. So, we're ready to go then. We're ready to depart. We'll just set our squawk to 2200, which is IFR, and get our zero fuel weight in. I've still forgotten to look at my reserve fuel. That was the one thing I was doing. We got 1.3 and 0.9. We'll say 1, so 2.3 because it adds to 2 together. Like 2.3, and there we go. Going to be cruising today at 350, and I shouldn't have got rid of sim brief because still have the cruise winds to put in. So the cruise winds today are going to be 245 at 079. We are flying on VATS in today, but no ATC at the moment. ISO deviation is -2 today. There we go. Put that in there. Execute. N1 limit. We're going to do a D rate of... Okay, I need to put in the outside air temperature. It is 10 degrees. No. /10, thank you. /10. It's 10 degrees. I'm going to do a D rate of 1 on both. Takeoff, going to be flaps 5 today. Centre of gravity, 24.1. And our V2 is going to be 140. Right, gonna go plugins, gonna go to better pushback, gonna go to start
Hey, Captain,
pushback.
let me know where you want this thing.
And gonna push to the left, I think. We're gonna push... Yeah, left. We want to go left. So it'll be facing like that. Yes.
Great news, Captain. Your toe's coming.
I'm gonna set this to 35,000 feet. There we go. And flight directors, left side, right side, on the auto throttle, LNAV, VNAV, and that is set. Auto brakes, RTO, and trim needs to be set to 4.5, so we'll just move that over until it's about the middle. There we go. Make sure there's no discounts on the route, and there we go. And make sure we can actually get to cruise altitude. Yes, we can. Great. Okay, we just need to wait for better pushback then to get itself into position. And we will go ahead and get ready to start the engines. Beacon light can come on. Elect gens can come on. Fuel pumps. And that is it. Pro peats as well, actually. And there we go. And the recording is looking okay. Amazing.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to
Disconnect
connect.
parking brakes. Alright, cool. We're ready to depart. Yep. Oh, I think they were waiting for us. Parking brakes on. Vancouver traffic. Skyways 3018. Push and start stand 73. Then we'll taxi to 08 left. Okay, hopefully people heard me. I'm obviously not clicked on the window, so might be difficult to tell. Right, looks like the ground crew are getting them. They're getting hooked up to us. Right. So that's it. I think we're all good. Right, are we gonna... And runway heading as well, we'll set is 083.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
There you go, pushing back now.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Alright, engine to ground. Right engine. And we'll begin to start up. And, because we're in the Zebo, it's really quiet. Turn up the sounds a little bit. Because the Zebo is way quieter than the other two planes that I fly. Right, 20%. Introduce fuel on engine number 2. And back we go. Pushing back. And the engine is basically stable now. Just need to wait for this to go to auto. And because it's auto, that means we don't need to put it into continuous. If it didn't say auto, that just said off. We'd need to put it into continuous, but because it's auto, we're okay. Right, ground on engine number 1. I wonder whether it says auto on the Zebo, because if it doesn't say auto, if it does say auto on the Zebo, I've been switching over to continuous for no reason. I just noticed it. Because if it says auto on the 737, there's two different kinds of engine start switches. It either says off or auto. Auto means it takes care of it by itself, going into continuous mode. But off means that you have to do it yourself. Right, introduce fuel on engine number 1. Did it maybe a little bit late, but okay. There we are, pushing back. Better pushback's going to start the swingers round a bit aggressively towards this direction, but never mind. And we are on time off blocks as well. Supposed to be off blocks at 20 past 7. We were off at 22 past 7. All times in Zulu, so we're 2 minutes late. That's fine. Right. Why have we got a Ryanair sound pack installed, by the way? I haven't modded anything. It's all just default. Apart from the livery that I've obviously got from Fly UK. Right, pushing back. Engines are good. They're both into the off position. So we're on engine power. So the APU can come off, and the APU bleed can come off. Packs can go to auto, and that is it. We'll get the TCAS on now. We're on VATSIM, of course, so turn the TCAS on a bit early so everyone else can see us in the airport area. Get our weather radar on. That's all you can do in terms of weather radar on the Zebo. This stuff here isn't functional, and we're on Unicom, so all good. Just do our before takeoff checklist. So flaps.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
Parking brake set. Flaps set to 5 for takeoff.
And we're disconnecting the tow.
Stabilizer
Give me
trim
just a
has been
moment.
set to 4.5. Takeoff briefing. We know we are taking off straight away and direct to AD6, no SID, and climb up to 350 immediately. Cabin is secure. Check that. All good. Transponder is set, and the landing lights will do a little bit later. Okay, awesome. Just need to wait now. We can get taxi lights on, actually. Tell GSX, this isn't FSX, what am I on about? Tell better push back to a disconnect, and everything is looking good up there, so head outside. It's really small, this 737-700. I forget how small it is. It looks like a little baby compared to the 800. It's tiny. And
we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
More forward than it is in the other 737. Right. Vancouver traffic. Skyways 3018. Taxi 08 left via Papa Mike. Alright, so we've advised the frequency that we are, the Unicom, that we are departing. And just check. Okay.
Pushback failure. Your flight controls are preventing me from steering the aircraft. Unbind any buttons you have set to toggle nose wheel steering.
Okay, this is interesting. The nose wheel toggle steering isn't working. I don't know why. It's set to Zebo. Nose wheel steer toggle is set to A. There we go, that's correct. It's a bit of a faffy thing on the Zebo. You need to press Z then A. I've mapped the key that's to Z, I think. It's like you got to press both buttons on and off until it finally gets it. It's a bit weird. Right, I'm going to make a right on Papa here. Why is that saying auto brake disarm? There you go, it's good. I guess it just wanted us to reset it or something. Also, for some reason, my brake key toggles the beacon light. And it doesn't happen on my other PC, so I don't know why that happens. It's a really weird little glitch, that. I've looked, and there's no control for the beacon in the controls that's bound to anything. The key for the beacon isn't bound to any button on my joystick, so I don't know what's going on. Remember, transition altitude is 18,000, so I'll be on local pressure for quite a while after departure. Right. Just taxiing out here. Oh, steering to the it was steering to the right a little bit. I think I had the rudder slightly off, maybe. It's okay now. So we're going to taxi all the way down Mike. We're going to do a full length of the runway. I mean, it's a 10,000 foot runway, and we're in a teeny little 737-700, so there shouldn't really be an issue, but, you know, just in case. And there is another Air Canada here, but it looks like it's still at the gate by the looks of it. Nothing on approach either, so we're all good on that side of things. And see, there it is. It's also got its TCAS on. There it is over there. Look, going a little bit quickly as well. So we'll just slow it down a little bit. I haven't got a lot of throttle control because my throttle axis on this Thrustmaster joystick is tiny. I'm using the Thrustmaster USB joystick if anyone's interested today. Right, taxi light off, runway turn off on, landing lights on. Weirdly, there's only 2 landing lights. I've never seen that before. I don't know. I thought that was the entrance to the runway. So I've turned those on a little bit early, but never mind. I just heard, why are my engines flickering like that? It's just how my so it's a very small throttle axis, so X-Plane gets a bit confused about where the axis is. It happens on all the flight sims. It's just because it's such a small axis. That's how the computer detects it. Anyway, right, I think we're good for takeoff. Just do a quick recall check and Vancouver traffic. Skyways 3018 lining up 08 left. Any traffic on approach, please advise now. Okay. There's nothing on approach. I'll just check on VATSPY just to be sure. Yep, and there's no one on approach. Good. Thank you for that. Okay. So next time I do this, I'll have an overlay or something set up, and we'll have X-Plane in in full screen mode, no, in windowed mode, because I can't put it in windowed mode now, otherwise you guys see my taskbar and the top layer, like, which obviously is a bit distracting, which is why in the streams I have overlays. Anyway, I don't know why I didn't think of it today. Anyway, initial power is set 40%, and we'll start the clock, and power is set. We'll have to go idle, have to take off quickly, just so that the auto throttle can catch up. That is something that happens on the Zeebo. I don't know if I hit N1, does that allow me to use auto throttle? There we go.
80 knots.
That's better. Right, 80 knots, because that means now I don't have to idle the power after we've taken off. It's better doing it on the ground. V1.
V1 rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up. Obviously, I'm flying a Boeing with a joystick here, so it's a little bit confusing. The plane does feel a bit strange sometimes. 400 feet, so we have VNAV. I can't really see much out the window, actually. So you can't sit very far back in the Zeebo because the seats get in the way. But I don't like to turn the seats off.
1,000.
By the way, I just accidentally hit my throttle, which is what happened there. Okay, 1,000 feet. Vancouver traffic, Skyways, 3018 airborne. Right, we'll turn on the autopilot, because that allows me then to clean up the flaps after departure. So we'll go to flaps 2, and we'll get the runway turn-offs off. And when our checklist, air conditioning and pressure is good. Engine start switches are in auto. Landing gear, locked. Auto brake is off. Flaps are going up as we speak, and altimeters will be set at 18,000 feet. Right. There go, flaps up now. And we can proceed onwards on our route now at, I suspect, about 240 knots. And there we go. Oh, and the Air Canada took off at exactly the same point it does. Wow. Yeah, that was worth a screenshot. That'll be our thumbnail, I think. Anyway, out we go. And because this video will be edited, once we get to cruise, I'll just cut it. Maybe we'll have a little montage of the plane flying with some music, and then I'll cut to when I'm doing my arrival prep, just so we can make this video into about an hour long, rather than, you know, anything massive. Right. This plane's reached its speed for climbing now, so we're climbing up at quite a high speed, as you'd expect. No ATC or anything online, so, you know, I was expecting a bit of ATC in America at this time of day. I mean, some areas of America have ATC right now, but not that many. Anyway, up we go. So that Air Canada, I don't know whether it'll be a pain for us. I don't know. It's actually currently 3,000 feet below us, so I think he's holding off on his climb, maybe. Or maybe he's doing a SID, I don't know. There's not many SIDs out of Vancouver, and they don't go very far either. They only go about 10 to 20 miles out of the airport, so it's pretty pointless using one. That's why Simbrief didn't plan one. Oh, this is on that doors page still, even though the doors were all closed and we did check them. So don't worry, it's all good. Bit cloudy here, but very much. This thing is climbing very quickly. Obviously, it's got the same kind of engines, I think, as the 737-800. Just that it's obviously got quite a bit less weight, presumably, considering it's quite a bit smaller. It looks a lot smaller, that's for certain. And obviously, as well, it's a very short flight, so we haven't got much fuel on board. Right, 10,000 feet. Landing lights off. And speed can start increasing. So there you go, only 4 minutes into the flight and we're already up here. We're going to wait to 18,000 to do the seatbelt signs. That's what they tend to do in America here. They just, you know, they do everything at 18,000. That's the transition altitude. Obviously in the UK and a lot of Europe it's a lot lower than that. It's more like 5,000 to 6,000, maybe 10,000 in a few places. There you go, we're on our departure then. It's a nice simple route down to Calgary today. And then we'll review the approach a bit later on. That weird terrain bug that you get in X-Plane seems to be happening here, or maybe it's fog, I can't tell.
Traffic chaser 228. Machine back inserting from sand 87.
Okay, this plane just decided to suddenly stop its climb briefly there. I don't exactly know why. That was a bit of a weird one. Then it started climbing rapidly. That's a bit odd. Obviously, it basically pitched down and then gained way too much speed. So now it's doing a crazy climb to even that out. It's fine. We're all good. Hopefully it'll work it out eventually. I think there will probably be a few things with this plane that are maybe a bit inaccurate because it's quite an old version of the Zebo. It's about a year and a half old, I think, because it's the ultimate mod 737-700. Remember, they just stopped. They used to update it along with the Zebo. I think it actually used to be a separate project, and then they kind of merged it with the Zebo. And then obviously they must have stopped that about a year and a half ago. They must have just stopped updating it. It's on. If you go into the place where the Zebo Google Drive is, it's in that same Google Drive folder. Because that's how you get the Zebo mod. Also, I think it's not the terrain bug that's causing us to not see some things. It is a bit cloudy, a bit foggy out here today. Going through some clouds now on our departure from Vancouver. There you go, look at that. I honestly love the Aurora livery. I think it looks so nice. That blue, it's lovely. I mean, these 737-700s that Fly UK have, they used to actually belong to Nordic Sky, but they got replaced with Embraer E195, so they moved them over to Aurora. Because Fly UK do operate like that. They actually operate kind of like a real airline. They pretend to buy planes and move them out their fleets and whatever. They do actually do that, which I think is quite funny. It's nice. Make sure that the operations are realistic and everything. Right, passing flight level 180, standard pressure, and I think I'm going to pause the recording here. Well, I'm going to pause the recording. Obviously, you guys will just see one continuous recording. And we'll have some montage shots of the plane in the air once we're at cruise. So, we are now at cruise, and we are planning to be here for the next, I don't know, so what's that, 20 minutes? Yes, 20 minutes. So we're going to be here for the next 20 minutes at flight level 350, Mach 77, obviously. And we've got a very nice tailwind, about 90 degrees. 90 degrees? What am I about? 90 knots. Why can't I speed today? 90 knots. So, yeah. Coming up now will be a montage of the cruise stage of flight. Enjoy. Right guys, it is time to start the preparation for our approach. Hope you enjoyed that little montage of cruise. This is kind of the benefit of doing this as an edited video, rather than me just sitting here endlessly chatting, which in a video is boring. Obviously that's why I do a lot of live streaming for flight simming, it just kind of suits it. This has been a 20-minute cruise. I've been able to cut about 10 minutes out of it. Great. Look and chill out for a bit, and you guys get to watch a slightly short video, but you still get the bits that you all want to watch, the takeoff and the landing, of course. But anyway, now obviously you won't be able to see the charts, unfortunately. They are on my tablet. I might look into a way of getting some screen recording software onto my tablet and then editing it into the video later, if you guys really want to see that. However, if not, we'll just leave it. Anyway, so we're going to be taking the ep1 arrival into Calgary today, and the restrictions are as follows: 14,000 and above at Amito, yes. 13,000 and above at Seedle, or Sidel, yes. Below flight level 210 if we're going into 17 left or right, which we are, at Igvep, yes. Above 12,000 at Zugav, above 10,000 at Ervug, yes. And yes, okay. And then we head Veska Nabon, yes, yes. And 8,000 at Ovebi and 210 knots, yes. And Upton at 210 knots, and then Vectors to ILS 17 right, which starts at Alero. And we are going to be picking up the glide slope at 6,500 feet, and we should be descending somewhere between Alero and Vixos. Vixos isn't actually on there. It doesn't have to be on there, actually. It doesn't have to be on there. But I think I'm going to put it in there anyway, so Vixos. It's just good to have an extra waypoint to know what we're doing with, and we're supposed to hit that on the glide slope at 58.10. So 58.10 in there. Just gives us a bit of a better descent profile, and that is it. So have a quick look at the plan for today on the arrival. It's basically straight in, and then it's going to be vectors. So obviously in real life you get ATC to do that. However, luckily the vectors are actually perfect for us to just go from Upton directly round. So what we're going to do, just hide the yoke so I can do it. Just going to go direct between the two because it gives us a perfect little circle in there. Absolutely fine. And that allows us to properly inset the ILS on that white line there. Okay. So and there appears to be a discontinuity there, so we'll just fix that, execute that, and there we go. That is everything all done and ready for the arrival on the FMC side of things. Now we need to go ahead and get the plane ready. So 109.3 is the ILS frequency, so we're going to go ahead and put that in standby. We'll activate that later. And final approach course is going to be 165. And the airport elevation is 3,600 feet. So 3,600 on our pressurization panel. And minimums are going to be 3,755. So we'll get that in there. 3,7, just need to wait for a little bit. 3,755. So just need to scroll up until we hit that, because it's quite a high up airport, Calgary. So 3,755. Excellent. And that is about it. Once we're on the ground, we're going to land on 17 right is the plan at the moment. We're going to vacate on Charlie 1 or Charlie 3 and then taxi down to the main terminal where we're going to park. FlyK hasn't actually given us any exact stands, so I think we'll take Concourse Bravo or Charlie, maybe stand 33, 31, 52, somewhere around there. So that's the plan. Okay, that's us all set up then, everything's all in ready. We haven't got any ATC sadly, but I will just grab the weather quickly. So the weather down there right now is the same as when we last checked. It's 130 at 6 knots, few clouds at 19,000, broken at 28,000, and it's 8 degrees. And the altimeter is 2975. We'll just get that in there. 2975. Okay, so that's that. That's fine, and we have 40 miles visibility, so clear as day. So that's good. Just heading to the init ref now, and we're going to be doing a flaps 30 arrival today, because flaps 40 the speed's a little bit low. Also, our aircraft thinks that the course is 166, when it's 165 on here, although in the latest AirAC the procedure was revised, and remember we are running an AirAC that is 1 It's 1 month old, because for whatever reason, even though I've updated it, it appears to be slightly off. And under the changes, it literally just says procedure revised. So that means that the airport heading may have changed. I'll just check the main. Okay, the airport heading hasn't changed, because on the main airport, so yeah, 165. I don't know. We'll set it as 165. If the plane doesn't pick it up, we'll change it to 16. Actually, I think 166, because this is taking it directly from X-plane. So we'll try 166. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that's okay. And we are descending in just 10 miles. So first restriction is 14,000 or above. So that's what we're going to set in our MCP. And in terms of heading, I'd always like to, actually we're not going to set it to runway heading, because remember, actually no, we're not doing vectors. We can set it to runway heading, which is 165. And we're 130 miles from Calgary. We're going to start descending just 8 miles. And I will resume the recording when we're passing through 18,000 feet. We are, guys. We are descending through flight level 180 now, so time to go to the local altimeter here in Calgary, which is 2975. But first of all, we're going to get the seatbelt signs on, get everyone back there, sat down, and ready. Approach checklist is all good. There's nothing really on there. We've obviously set up all our approach stuff later. Right, go to 2975. Great. And we'll set 109.3, which is our ILS frequency. Now, we're currently 70 miles from Calgary. We should be touching down in about 15 minutes. So we're going to, you know, just keep it from here, I think. We won't bother editing anything else. Very clear day here in Calgary. It's very cloudy back there. Really, really cloudy. Hang on a minute, what's going on here? My recording is actually totally frozen. I don't know whether you guys are seeing this, but on my screen, X-plane is just the cockpit. That's a weird one. Is my recording software okay? Okay, hopefully you guys saw, I don't know, so hopefully it wasn't just frozen for ages for you guys. Luckily I checked my recording, but yeah, for some reason X-plane, I had to just turn off the display capture and turn it on again, it was fine. It was very cloudy back there, but it's okay where we are. Right, we're clear down to 12,000 now. I'm just following the restrictions with the waypoints, basically, is what I'm doing at the moment. So as we get lower and lower, obviously the restrictions that we have to be above get lower and lower, so we just set it. And we should be able to fly past the airport and see it. No ATC at the moment, and no traffic around in the vicinity either. There was one plane that was about 20 minutes out of Calgary when we left for Vancouver, and it's already landed and it's already disconnected from the network. So we're totally empty in Calgary, just us right now. Right, just past that waypoint, it's 12,000, so we can set 10,000 in here now. FPS is pretty decent, about 40 FPS. You know, X-plane actually runs very well. Even remember, right now I'm recording, which is taking up 13% of my CPU power, and I only have 3 gig of VRAM, but it's able to run 40 FPS. It is quite clear outside. When it's cloudy, it does struggle a bit more, but pretty nice, really. X-plane does run on, you know, it runs on basically any machine. Well, not any machine, but it's quite nice. It doesn't, you know, it runs quite well. I reckon you would need a decent processor, though. I've only played it with the Ryzen 7, obviously, so I can't comment on the processor usage, but it's definitely better than Microsoft Flight Sim and FSX. Well, I don't know, FSX was alright, it just lagged when there was lots of AI around, and it didn't matter what processor you had or anything. It's because the game is 32-bit. So you'll never get more performance out of it. So, you know. Right, plane is idling now. Actually, I don't even know why it was idling. It didn't. We're not slowing down for 10,000 feet yet. And yeah, restrictions 8,000 at the moment at Avebi. We've got to be at 8,000, and then we'll start kind of descending onto the approach. Obviously, we're going to slow down at 10,000 feet, which will be quite soon. I think I can see the airport in the distance. Actually, that might be a lake. The airport should be quite close by, though, wherever it is. Actually, it should be maybe more like... yeah, that actually might be the airport. It's going to be somewhere around here, because we're making a slight left turn up here quite soon, so it won't be bang straight ahead, but so that might not be the airport. Maybe there's a little, I don't know. Oh no, I don't know. I can't quite see anything that looks like an airport right now. Obviously, I am still like I'm more than 20 miles away, so you might not be able to see it from this distance. With obviously games having render distances and all that. Right, we're now going below 11,000 feet. There's the decel point, so this thing is going to slow down, unlike the Zebo on my stream heading into Belgrade. It didn't want to slow down. Right, just deploy the spoilers a little bit. Slow ourselves down using the keyboard for that, because I haven't got an axis. Same with the flaps, I'm using the keyboard. So the default keys are 1 and 2 for the flaps and 3 and 4 for the speed brake. Right, passing through 10,000, landing lights on. Hopefully this will be quite a smooth landing. Obviously I haven't got anything monitoring my landing rate, so we won't know how smooth it is in that sense, but hoping for a good one. Obviously, you always hope for a good landing. You always want a good one. Right, also, let's have a look at our go-around kind of path. So, climb to 4,100, then right turn to 7,000, heading 186. So 7,000 feet is our missed approach altitude, so that's what we'll set once we're actually on the approach on the glide slope. To intercept the glide slope, the altitude we're looking at is 6,500. It starts at 6,500, the glide slope. Obviously we've got to get, to a Vebi first, because it's 8,000 until then. Actually, we can probably set 65. It will listen to the restrictions, it should, this plane. Right, we should begin to see the airport on our right from now. We'll be flying by it in about 10 miles time, so we should see it. If I look over there we go, there's the airport there, look. So obviously we're flying by it, and then we're going to make an approach then as well. And the approach will be from 13 miles out of the airport, so pretty good. And we're going to slow down to 210 knots as well, just up here. Flight time today was supposed to be about 55 minutes, I think? 54 minutes, so we'll probably be slightly slower this flight than planned, maybe by a few minutes. I mean, obviously it doesn't really matter, it's a few minutes. And there's the airport look there, so... And we're now slowing down to 210 knots. The plane should be able to sustain itself at 210 knots fine, but I'm going to get it to flaps 2 just so it's less to deploy later on. It's a bit quicker, and we'll go manual speed because this thinks when you put the speed out that's a cue to start slowing down really slowly, which obviously it isn't right now. And we're going to set our auto brakes. The one thing I actually forgot to set. The runway in Calgary is absolutely massive, 12,600 feet, so auto brakes 1 will be easily fine for us. It's 8 degrees outside, so no need for any anti-ice or anything, because it's already above 5 degrees outside. That means that, you know, anything, I think it needs to be above 5 degrees really for ice to fully melt, for it all to disappear, even though obviously water does melt at 0. It's 5 degrees if you want all of it to be thoroughly melted, so, and it's already 6, it's about 8 degrees on the ground, so absolutely fine. There's our top of a descent from 8,000 feet there, look. Listed on there, so that's when the plane's going to start its secondary descent down to 6,500 feet. Although I don't really want that. I think I'm just going to start doing a vertical speed descent now. I'd rather it did a much more gradual descent than it just did a descent last minute, because remember we're trying to pick up an ILS while we do all of this. So we'll just start it with a very slow 500 feet per minute kind of thing, just to make sure we can descend a little bit. Obviously we can only descend a little bit. Also means we can slightly idle the power, you know, save fuel. I mean, we're in a virtual world anyway, so I don't think saving fuel matters that much, but hey. And we'll just do one last check to check there's nobody on the ground in Calgary that we need to be informing. There is no one on the ground currently spawned in, so we should be all good for that. Also excuse the black screen while we swap over. So there you go, you can see by doing this early descent we've been able to get a little bit closer to the start of the ILS. Right, it's just well, we won't do the landing checklist just yet. Apparently the start switches do need to go into contiguous even though they say auto on landing, so I will, I guess, listen to the checklist. It's probably right, isn't it? That's why it's there. And you can see, even when we set that to 165, the aircraft knows it's picking a bird as 166, so that's fine. And you can see, there we go, we'll start to increase the vertical speed now because this thing's vertical path has started. We'll go 600 feet per minute, I guess, for now. And we can, I won't arm the approach just yet, actually, because we want to, obviously, also, where's the line, the little white line for the start of the approach? Oh, there it is. Couldn't see it in the same place that we was in earlier. So you can see we're doing pretty good here, just slowing down. We'll slow down to 200 knots now. And we'll go flaps 5. There we go, and we can arm the approach now. This thing probably won't pick up the localizer just yet, but soon it will. And there's the glide slope on there as well. We can go down to 180 knots now, because it's only 11 miles, so not that far to go, actually. And there you go, we're holding that 6,500. Remember, go around altitude is 7,000, so as soon as we pick up the glide slope, we'll put in 7,000 in there. Everything's looking good. For landing, what brakes are set? We'll just arm our speed brakes, actually. There we go. And we'll do a quick recall check. All good. Just check our landing speeds are accurate. 137 plus 5 for the wind is 142. It's what we're going to set in there on final. And we've captured the localizer, which means we can now capture the glide slope whenever the plane's ready. And we are 10 miles out, although we're not picking up the DME on there, we're only going off there, which is absolutely fine. We might not start picking up the DME until that white line. There you go, glide slope, so this can now be set to 7,000. And we can go flaps 10, it's the most you can go without the plane shouting at you for overspeeding. Not overspeeding while having the gear still up. The DME on there still hasn't appeared, so we'll just live without it. We know we're 8 miles out anyway. It's probably because it's probably to do with the course being different, maybe. I don't know. Although it's only intercepting it at 166 anyway. Right, 7 miles out. We'll go to 160 knots now. And then once the plane has finished slowing down, we'll go ahead and drop the gear and go to flaps 30, not 40, 30. Got to remember that. And then we're going to set 142 on the speed. Right, there's the runway. Gear down. One last check. Make sure no one has spawned into Calgary. There is nobody there, so we're good to go. Obviously, just don't want to make sure we don't run into anybody or whatever. Right, we're going to go 142 knots now. Disengage the autopilot. And of course the plane starts to feel a bit weird then because of course we're flying a Boeing with a joystick. Right, disengage the auto throttle now as well. Get ourselves back on course a little bit because the plane drifted off there when I was using a different button. When I was using the joystick. Right. We're all good. Slightly too high, I'll just correct that now. I'll get the ground shot up on my tablet. So that's now ready to go. Hope everyone has enjoyed this video, of course. It should be about an hour in length, which is much better than the hour and a half it would have been without editing and whatever, so that's kind of why I'm doing it.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
There you go, there's our first officer, or captain, I can't actually tell who it is speaking there. Because obviously you don't know in the flight sim, because even though we're sitting in the captain position, you don't actually know what Zebo have planned, or ultimate mod, or whatever, into the plane. If you sit in the first officer seat, nothing changes in terms of sound, or anything from the crew. Right, we're a little bit high, so we'll just bring the plane down a little bit. There you go, we're back on course now. See the 2 white, 2 red lights.
400. 300.
There we go.
Approaching minimums.
Only a 10 knot wind, but oh, rip.
200.
Excuse that. Minimums continue. Right, I forgot to set the flaps for landing. Don't worry, they're set to 30 now. They're okay.
50. 40.
We're okay. We're okay, guys. Don't worry about that warning. We're good. I know it felt like quite a smooth landing. That may be, I don't know, slightly off centre line, but... And reverse is out. We don't need much in the way of reverses here. So reverse is in already. It's a very long runway.
80 knots.
There you go. Got it back on the centre line in the end. Not the best of landings there, but it's alright. And there we go. We're not going to vacate. We're going to wait till we're going to vacate on uniform. For some reason, we've got the Ryanair landing music. Who knows why? Disarm the auto brakes. Taxi light on, landing lights off. Start the APU. We didn't put the engines into continuous in the end, to be honest. I think because it says auto, it's okay. And vacate there. Nice. Flight directors can come off, I guess. There we go. Hello and welcome everyone to Calgary. Local time is 1:30 in the afternoon. Going to taxi to the left here on Charlie, and then we're going to park in Concourse Bravo. Yeah, we're going to taxi to stand 35. There we go. And we got to enjoy that lovely Ryanair landing music, even though we're not flying Ryanair. Although that landing was certainly deserving of Ryanair. Anyway. Oh, weird little X-plane reflections thing there. It just went dark all of a sudden. Right. Track the flaps. Track the spoilers. Recall check. Good. APU's on. We're on APU power now, so we're all good. And we'll just bring down the throttles a little bit, going a little quickly, aren't we? Obviously, the beacon will have turned itself off now because I've used the brakes. And so, if anyone knows why that happens, can you please tell me? When I press the brake, it turns off the beacon. It's really annoying. We can ignore it, I guess. I think it only happens in the 737 as well. I don't think it happens in any of the other planes. But I've checked in the controls and it's fine. Which is irritating. Right, we're taxiing down Charlie, we'll be right onto Juliet, and then we'll take Golf. And that should lead us directly into the terminal. No one else on the ground here, so very quiet. Kind of as expected, really. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this kind of style of video. Let me know down in the comments if you want more of these kind of videos, or if you want more iRacing. I just thought, you know, it's a good way to try and bring more flight sim content to the channel without necessarily having to live stream it all the time. Even if it does mean a little bit of editing for me, I don't mind. Because the channel still gets flight sim content. Right, turn to the right here, onto Juliet, and into Golf. And as you can see, typical, very nice X-plane scenery quality there. We have some really good... Actually, it turned into home... No, it says Golf on the chart. Golf is... Actually, no. It is also Golf to the right. Golf, taxiway Golf kind of goes all the way along here, and then it's Golf here as well. So I got a bit confused. There you go. So we'll taxi in here, and then stand 35 we're looking for. Actually, is this a one-way taxiway? It doesn't say on the chart. I'm looking on the... oh, whip. That happens. It's because, again, I'm not using a proper rudder to steer the plane, so it goes a little bit funny. It like drifts almost. I'm drifting a plane. If you just do really gentle inputs, it doesn't do that. Right. So stand 3-5 should be this one, maybe? I think it's this one. So it would have been nice if Fly could give me some stands to pick from, like they did in Vancouver, but no. And here it is, stand 37 there, so this will be 35. Got 35 alpha. I think we'll just take the regular 35. There it is. Oh, it's 35 alpha or Bravo. I think we'll say alpha then, actually, because that's closer to the jetway. I think maybe one is with a jetway, one's without. Or maybe one is for bigger aircraft. I don't know. Obviously, we're quite a small aircraft, so we'll take this one. Yeah, this is the one that's close. The other one must be a remote stand, or maybe, I don't know. Samuel Jetways doesn't tend to pick up jetways from that far away, so I'd imagine maybe it's a remote stand, or maybe, obviously, it's just Samuel Jetways being a bit unusual. Samuel Jetways should definitely pick up from this kind of distance, so I guess we'll just park it about here. And parking brake set. Engine 1 off. Obviously we're on APU power, so it's okay. And engine 2 cut. And I'll bring up Samuel Jetways. There it is. Connect the jetway. Taxi lights off, beacon lights off. This can go to steady. Elec gens off, packs off, engine bleeds off, and fuel pumps can come off. And we want to go to ground services, set chocks, parking brakes off, and GPU disconnect. The GPU is connected, so we can go ahead and turn off the APU. And there we go. I think that is everything. Get all the gens off, why not? And the window heat, and the probe heats, and the trim air, and the recirc fan, and the isolation valve can go to open. There we go. All finished with. Seatbelt signs can come off, and we'll head to the doors page. Forward entry has already been auto opened for us, and the cargo can open. And then we can start service cruise on the ground. So there we go. Parked a little bit too far actually, although Samuel Jetways didn't mind it. It connected to us absolutely fine. There we go. Hope everyone really enjoyed that flight. Then your damper can come off and off, off. And that's all good. We'll go off on the emergency lights. And there we go. Everything is all good. Everything's all finished with. So we can go ahead and just knock off the ground power, knock off the battery, off, off. And there we go. Everything is off. Everything is finished with. That is the world's loudest GPU. Let's remove that. Weirdly, you can still partially hear the GPU. Interesting. Even after you've taken it away. Close those doors. We'll leave the other ones open. And there we go. Hope everyone really enjoyed this little flight. I'm going to edit it and get the video. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one. And bye-bye.